I'm Neil McDonald. I'm the owner of Peach City Runners in Penticton. I got involved with the Coalmont to Princeton race back in 2001. Had a much longer history before that, but our store was contacted by Leslie Hassel and Jim Harden in Princeton, and they knew we put on our Peach City Half Marathon and a number of other events, and they asked if we could go over and help them put the race on, because they wanted to resurrect this classic race. It was considered right up there with Kelowna Peak to Peak as being one of the toughest races in the race series back in the day. The history, as far as I know, for the Coalmont to Princeton race, it started back in 1980 at least. It joined the series in 1983 and then started to grow from there. Back in the early days, they had it in July in conjunction with the Princeton Racing Days, so it was hot back then. When we were involved with it, it was in April, late April, so it was much easier on the body for running, but it was still a very tough race. The race begins in the small mining town of Coalmont, right in the front of the Coalmont Hotel on Main Street. This is a point-to-point race, so runners hoping to complete the route will need to plan their transportation. The route takes runners up Parish Avenue until a curve right that merges onto Coalmont Road. From here, the course is straightforward as it simply follows this road for 18.5 kilometers all the way to Princeton. The road winds up and down along the forested valley as the Tulamina River appears and disappears off to the right. Eventually, after a challenging course, runners will reach Princeton and the race finish at the Princeton and District Arena.
My name is Cindy Rhodes, and I am currently the president of the Interior Running Association, and I have been a member of the Kelowna Running Club for I think since 1989. My memory of running the Coalmont to Princeton is kind of, I guess, hazy in the sense that it's been a long time. Everybody meets at the Princeton Arena, which was a main meeting place in Princeton, and you took the bus down to Coalmont. And as you're riding the bus, you're realizing that you're simply going downhill the whole way. And then you get to the bottom, and you might have maybe 60 to 100 participants on the bus. And you line up, and as you're lining up at the start line, you might come across some cow manure, because that's kind of the community. There was a cattle community, a farming community, or ranching community. And you run, and it's like all uphill with a little bit of a reprieve and undulating in the road, but basically it's a grind all the way up. It is an experience because it's like you're moving back in time. The community is really friendly. It's small town.
And then once you go, you're just winding along this very narrow road. It's the old Coalmont Road. And the canyon just drops off there, so you just get these picturesque views. At one point you're looking back a kilometer and you can see the runners back there that look like ants, or for the people at the back of the pack looking forward. But yeah, it's just beautiful. I mean, so you get to enjoy the scenery as you're sweating out.
The race was 18.5K, did I mention that?
You didn't mention that.
Okay, the race was 18.5K. And unlike the races nowadays, it was all just a guess, right? It wasn't measured accurately. You had a lot of people from Kamloops, Penticton, Kelowna, Vernon, and back then there were some pretty high-end runners. But the pace on that course, looking at the results, if you can imagine 18.5K undulating going up, and their pace was like a 3:30, 3:40, the winning time. The finish of the Coalmont to Princeton is memorable for me because I had taught at Riverside Middle School there, which was close to the finish line. So you kind of come up to the crest of the hill. You can see in the distance the middle school, and then not farther along on the left is the arena, which is where the finish line was, and we would go inside and have cookies and cake, all made by the volunteers of Princeton. So, and they were so proud, so happy to see everybody. And when you finish it, they're cheering and just so appreciative that we made it to their race. But yeah, once you've finished it, you feel like you've really accomplished something.